How's it going, everyone? So today I wanted to talk a little bit about the reMarkable 2. This is a product that I've been using for about 2 years now, and it's become an integral part of my workflow and my day. So I think that it has pretty good value, even though it's a little more simplistic in terms of the technology and the actual use case of it. But it does make things a lot simpler for me, rather than having a bunch of notebooks where then I have to search through a bunch of things to find. I think this is sleeker, slimmer device, and makes for a more organized me. I used the reMarkable 1 for about a year or so prior to this, so I already knew I was kind of sold on the concept. I'm pretty glad that I ended up buying the reMarkable 2 because I think it's an improvement in many ways. One thing that the reMarkable 2 is not good at, I would say, is being an e-reader. So there's a lot of DRM, digital rights management, on ebooks, so getting stuff on here is not super easy. But more so than that, I think actually not having a backlight is the biggest drawback, and also the actual size. So this is, the ebook that I use currently, much smaller. It's hefty. It's not thin by any means, but the footprint itself is actually much smaller, right? And this has a little backlight, so I can kind of read it anywhere, any time of day, any time of night, and it just fits in my travel pocket or even my pants pocket much easier. So I really don't ever find myself using this as an e-reader. The one thing that the reMarkable does really get right, though, is replacing your notebook. When I'm working with a notebook like this, it's just me and the paper. That's it, right? There's no distractions in here unless I'm like reviewing stuff that I have in the past. That's very similar in terms of the concept for the reMarkable. It's just a completely disconnected feel, which for someone like myself, when I'm on my laptop, which does have a pen and I can use apps to write stuff down like OneNote or Evernote, the laptop I find myself constantly getting distracted. So like when I'm working on a video like this and I want to plan out the workflow of like what I want to talk about and stuff, the reMarkable just lets me kind of sit there with my pen and paper or pencil and paper and my thoughts. And that is really what kind of keeps drawing me back to the reMarkable. It's the kind of disconnected feel. I also have a Galaxy Note, which has a stylus in it. So clearly I'm someone that, has pretty much a stylus on like every device that I have, but I opened my phone and I just got distracted. So I use this to like take quick notes or just make like to-do lists or something, and sometimes sketch. But the reMarkable has maintained in my workflow for the fact that it's just unique in that sense. The reMarkable 2 does have a very strong paper kind of feel to it when you're writing with a pen or pencil. One thing I don't find myself doing a lot is actually sketching on here. Now, even though my primary kind of artistic method is pencil and paper, or charcoal and paper, I just don't really find using the eraser very intuitive on this. It doesn't have that kind of level of granularity that I like, and I sometimes would just rather actually work on my laptop, which has the S Pen. I have a bigger S Pen as well, but if I'm working with like color or a lot of layers, or if I want to pull in images to superimpose over something or trace or outline or something, this is just a lot easier to do, I think. The reMarkable, while you can sketch on it, and I have before, I just don't find it to be the most intuitive for sketching. So while it's okay, I don't think it's great. I'd honestly normally just prefer pen and pencil and a paper. In that sense, I'd say I'm a little more old school. Like Autodesk Sketchbook on here or on my laptop, I find to be way better in terms of the layers, the functionality, the pen, brush tools, all that, than the reMarkable for drawing. So talking a little bit about the software of the reMarkable, it's definitely improved over time. You know, I've had the reMarkable 1, and it was very, very basic when it first started out. But they've started adding more features, improved a few things. I think the OCR, which is the optical character recognition, that converts your writing into actual text, has gotten a little bit better. The system to actually get that stuff onto a computer is a little backwards because it emails you, which I find to be a little strange. But then again, this is kind of an old school feel, so maybe that's the mantra for it. In terms of the security, it does have a passcode setting, so you can set that. And then actually integrating with the system, there are 4 ways, I believe. There's the smartphone app, which you can link your phone to, so you can connect to that. There's also the browser extension. I find that one to be actually one of the more useful tools to actually kind of integrate with the device. There's also the Dropbox or Google Drive, and I think there's also OneNote. I don't use those because, like I said, I mostly just back stuff up or just store it locally. When I travel, I always carry this with me. It's pretty easy to carry around. And then there's also the desktop app, which is pretty easy to set up, and you just kind of log in. That I actually have used for the screen mirroring feature once. I just used it as a test to kind of see if it worked, and it actually did work pretty well. So that's a more recent feature I believe they have, but very limited in terms of its use cases, I think. Maybe if you're a teacher or someone who's constantly sharing their notes, that could be useful. Also, that's something that I could do on my laptop as well, so it wasn't really like a drawing feature. I just tested it out more to just see what it was like. Looking at all the configurations for this, there are several options you can choose from. There's 2 different types of pens. There's one without the eraser and one with the eraser. The one with the eraser, which is this one, is a lot more expensive. I don't really know why they don't just include the pen as a base price. So I don't think anyone would be buying this without the pen. That's the whole point of it, right? So that's a little strange. I will say, just be careful with the pen. Dropping it around is a little fragile. I've had instances where I was kind of just messing around with it and I dropped it and it completely ruined the nib right away. Oops. Probably more my fault than anything, but it is a tiny bit fragile. I think getting the pen with the eraser is kind of a must in my book. It's more expensive, but definitely worth it. Now, the folio book, they have one that I'll show here. It's a little more basic. It kind of just slots in. I really like this one, the folio book, which actually has a magnet in it, and it clicks in right there, and then it is more of like a notebook style, something like this, rather than something you pull out and just have kind of like a tablet. There are, I think, 2 different colored books, like a tan leather one and a darker leather one. I think this one worked fine. I kind of like the grippy texture on it. The switch to USB-C charging from the reMarkable 1 is a nice and additional welcome feature. The battery life has improved a little bit. Not that the original one had bad battery life, but the construction quality is much, much sturdier. It's all metallic now and feels much more premium. So you could say that the extra bit of money that you're spending on it has actually gone somewhere. So anyways, that kind of wraps up my thoughts on the reMarkable 2. It is certainly a device that is expensive. There's no beating around the bush. At the minimum price without the pen, it's already expensive. So when you get it all configured the way you want, it is going to be expensive. Perhaps you can, find a used deal somewhere, or even you can get the, the older reMarkable 1, like I mentioned, in the price comparison. Now, it's kind of a singular device in the sense that I just love how detached it is for me. I think it improves my process of creativity and allows me to just jot things down without being distracted or plot things out and kind of plan things. I think with modern technology and our smartphones and laptops and everything, we're just kind of overstimulated, and this kind of brings things back and allows you to just be with the pen and paper, kind of like this, but if you want to be more organized, I think this is the appeal of this. And, I'll certainly be getting a reMarkable 3 when it comes out. I'll probably be first in line. But I don't think this device is for everyone, for sure. If you have an iPad with a pen, it does basically the same thing. It just improves on the pen and paper feel and the kind of non-distracted feel. So anyways, that's going to wrap it up, guys. I hope you found this useful and maybe it helped you make an informed decision of whether the reMarkable is useful for you or worth the money. I will hopefully see you in the next video. Give it a thumbs if you liked it, and if you have any questions on the reMarkable or the reMarkable 1, please let me know and I'll try to answer in my best fashion. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.